So the new agreement?
Both.
Okay. But without me reading all through this, are they willing to accept those ambulances as is?
Yes, they have, that was the whole thing, it's just to drop the cost down. That's why he sent us
Right.
a quote.
That's why they devalued them,
Okay.
was to accept them as is.
And so there's potential of dragging one down, the other one we might have to truck down, that would also be acceptable to them, that the truck one down in Shears and...
Yeah, he already knows that.
Okay, I'm just...
Yeah, he knows when we may end up hauling down.
I'm just verifying that, yes, he already knows that, because we had the conversation out of the parking lot.
Yeah, so here's his email, and regarding this one out here, that was originally valued at $4,500. It says the original trade-in value can no longer be offered. The day it was picked up, the vehicle would not start, and it was left in Owego as a result. There was an offer by Assistant Chief Johnson for him to trailer the vehicle to VCI. Addition on the day of pickup, there was significant change in condition of the vehicle when compared to the vehicle when it was assessed. Specifically, there are numerous items have been removed, along with lenses being changed or missing. As a result, we are decreasing the trade-in value of the vehicle to $2,500, with the additional condition that OFD is responsible for transportation of the vehicle via over the road or via trailer to our corporate headquarters in Berlin, New Jersey. So they'll take it as is long as we get it to Jersey for $2,500.
Similar things to the other one?
And then the other one is $2,000. Says it was not part of the original contract, but you asked, and they assessed it with the additional condition that we, the village, are responsible for transportation of the vehicle via over the road to our corporate headquarters in Berlin, New Jersey.
That one says over the road?
So we've got to drive that one to Jersey.
And that was 833?
Yes.
Yes.
2033 is the one we have to drive there, 831 is the one we can ship there.
Yes.
Okay.
And our balance owed on the invoice, if we want to buy this ambulance, is $33,000 before any trades. Right.
You have the cards and stuff with it as well.
Yeah, we've got to, if we want to buy it, we've got to insure it and title it before they can give it to us.
Can you do that if it's not running?
No, I'm saying the new ambulance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff?
Won't pass the inspection.
Let the board know that I'm willing to drive it to New Jersey for you guys, as long as I can get somebody home.
Well, okay.
But will they let you take the new ambulance home?
No, the new ambulance is in Binghamton.
Free. It's specific on which ambulance you're
I'm
trying.
willing to drive 833.
Can you get them in jail?
You don't want to take this one?
I can get a ride home. Not this one.
I'll give you a ride home if it comes to that. I was gonna say, we can make a trip out of it.
Whether or not we're gonna make that decision right this minute, I certainly believe that that's something we should probably do.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ASAP, yeah.
I mean, these guys, it's been back and forth, right? Some of initially, we went back and forth, but I would say the last 6 months or so, it's been us they've been waiting for. Just looking at the emails, it's been us that's been not responding to emails or blowing them off or whatever.
And be careful, if I can speak, be careful when you say us.
Yeah, we know.
The village.
We're just all being.
So we had spoken of this earlier today, that,
He's been patiently, we knew we were changing things over and they've been patiently not bugging us about it.
but this could be a nice array of stuff. If we've got 831, 832, 834, this new ambulance, 4 of them, there'll always be one, at least it's not working. This could be a nice number for us. Assuming we're lucky.
Well, he basically was only gonna give us like $500 for the 2034, the one we've been driving, and now And our opinion is, as a whole, was to run the 3-4 as much as we can and really kind of keep these second and third line.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, kinda save 'em.
Beat the snot out of it and get some money that you guys, that we already put into it, and then auction it off or whatever later on. Because we don't have any place really to store anything at this point.
We're working on it.
Right. But,
Excellent.
Do we have the funds for the $30,000?
so we do in this squad account, but we still don't have, right?
No, I don't have that yet.
I can't hear you, Brad.
That was on purpose.
So last board meeting, we made a motion to not really take, but
Well,
control this account.
right, there's money in, for one thing, maybe the fire reserve money, there's money to purchase things, so we just have to decide how to do it. The biggest thing is you need an ambulance, let's buy an ambulance, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Is there a problem with transferring that account over? Is that what you're getting?
No, well, no, I'm not even worried about that part. I'm saying there is money in different accounts that we could use, but it's gonna be a little creative.
If we use a reserve account, do we need a referendum?
Yes. If you're gonna use a reserve account and it's an actual one of the reserve accounts that we've gone through, then you would need a permissive referendum.
That's what I'm saying. But I gotta be.
Mr. Rusty?
I know that there's disagreements about the old squad account, and I would like to hope that, once again, we were talking about it, I would like to hope that the squad believes that money is going to be used for everything for the squad, and I would hope that the squad would be pleased, or at least living with the fact that we would take $30,000 of that particular account to buy this ambulance. I would hope that that would be something that they would have done themselves. We've actually talked about that a little bit. You might have done it yourself if you had the control of the stuff. So that might be a good use for that, buy this ambulance to you guys.
But we're not holding on to anything.
No, I'm just saying, we'd like you to,
We want to.
we'd like a little blessing of that. You'd say, yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, that obviously was a good idea, because that's what started this whole thing to begin with.
Okay, well,
You
All
know?
right, well then, so there is money available to buy it.
Okay.
I think, do you need a motion to get this whole thing started again?
Probably.
So what I would recommend is, it sounds like we're operating technically under the signed contract with VCI. It sounds like they've identified that the prior trade-ins are no longer suitable for the same trade-in value. They've proposed a change in the financing of the ambulance at 36, so it'd still be 36,000, is that right?
The price is 36, we've got
Right,
three.
so it's still a purchase of an ambulance at $36,000, so we don't need to change that. But this would be amending the prior resolution that approved the purchase of the VCI ambulance to now declare surplus, I think it's two ambulances, which are 2033 and 2031.
If I can speak, probably should do it by VIN numbers.
Yeah, I've got them here.
You have,
Yeah.
because the volunteers did not spend the time changing the numbers.
Yeah, they're labeled wrong on the physical.
And taking the fire department off until things came back in service.
Okay.
I just gotta find them, but I got them.
but continue on.
All right, so it'd be a motion to amend the prior resolution approving the VCI contracts to change the plan of financing to the trade-in of 2 ambulances, VIN numbers to be supplied, which are hereby declared as surplus at a trade-in value of $2,000 for the one and $2,500 for the other. And then the existing down payment that's already been offered of $3,000, and then appropriation of the balance from the donated monies contained in the former squad account.
That would be the
I'll
motion.
second that.
That would be the motion. He can't make it.
No, we need somebody to make the motion.
I would make that motion.
Rusty, seconded by Fran.
I didn't want to say that.
Okay.
Do we want the numbers in there? We know 36 minus 3 minus 4,500. We'll get the numbers.
Yeah, I got that. Okay. All right.
Yes.
But before we vote on that motion, I got all that, but we had a little bit of stuff when we bought that other ambulance at auction. Do we want a little wiggle room here somehow in this motion that, so in case there's some...
Do you wanna say plus fees or something like that, cause there's,
I mean, if there's any other amounts.
I mean, there
involved,
is
it's
some
36,000.
small DMV fees and,
Plus additional costs and expenses not to exceed $1,000. I mean, how much
Sure.
are you talking about? Because
I don't know, I just want
this
the wiggle
is,
Like, you're gonna have the cost of whatever it takes to ship that ambulance down.
that's true, yeah.
One and gas to drive the other down.
Yeah,
so what's a good cap on the additional dollars? Because there should be a cap. You don't want to give it unlimited, you don't want to give Jeff an unlimited budget to get down there and back.
yeah,
Fly back for the last meeting.
Mr. Even Numbers guy likes 36 minus 3 minus 4,500 is 28,500. He likes $1,500 contingency.
yeah, I'm okay with that, I think we can get them down there.
Up to 330, just because I like them.
I think we can get them down there for $1,500 bucks.
Well, that's for all the, everything.
Yeah, plus we gotta do some stuff with the DMV and that kind of stuff.
All right, that's good.
That's part of it.
That'll move into.
Okay.
That's your ambulance.
Fran?
Yes.
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 Mine was the same, it's
We're just lucky they had the ambulance our way instead of all the way to Jersey.
At least then you'd have a ride back.
That's true. It's in Binghamton though,
Well,
so,
someone needs to be waiting for whatever comes up.
okay. So that's taken care of.
For 3 years.
What else? Do we need to talk about that bill for the fund?
That's not mine. That's you.
I know. Well, it's related to your department though. The $13,800 and some dollar bill for the one that's in the station.
For the one from Royal.
Yeah, we gotta figure out where to pay that from. So that was taken to Royal, in the midst of us getting shut down, not, I don't wanna say shut down, but close to shut down from the state. We just kind of, that was an oversight, we just kind of, just tried to fix everything we had to get back running. And that got taken to Royal and they fixed it.
Is there a more cost-effective location we can bring these things, or is
Well, they charged us
Yeah.
fee rate. to
They
do
did give us a
that.
decent
So
rate.
that was a lot cheaper than it was gonna be.
That's a deal, that's a...
Yeah, that helps.
And when I say 5 pages, when,
this thing like showing condition now?
that's the one bill for getting that, so we,
Right. Now there are, so we've discovered that, obviously the village garage can work on them, somewhat, a little bit,
oil changes.
right? The county public works garage can work on them. Royal is pretty decent at working on them. And then this VCI company also is a full-blown ambulance dealer that only deals in Fords. So they have, when you show me pictures, they have 30 of them in their shop now working on them. So they have some pretty good experience of working on these engines and stuff, so I guess in the future we have some options.
Experience comes first.
Different kind of Royal.
Ron, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask for some estimates more
Yeah.
often than we did before.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, I believe that's gonna be the procedure.
I mean, the same thing with, so the one that we ended up fixing for $600 or $800, we had that somewhere else and they wanted to do thousands of dollars worth of work on it. We took it to Royal and they said, no, you don't have to do that. So,
Yeah, but,
Wasn't it also in the context of, it was like a kind of like an emergency, right?
yeah, I mean, this was done kind of an emergency as far as to say to fix this one.
we did pick and choose, I mean, we didn't just.
It was a big fix, though.
We tried to find a way to, who was gonna give us the best estimate, because we kept throwing at you.
Right.
And of course, the extra cost of getting the ambulance detailed was, oh well.
Yeah, that was pretty
I went
low.
in there and cleaned that nasty thing from having the windows down for months with moss and mildew.
Was it a $400 expense?
It was actually
200.
3,
Oh, yeah,
and they did
200,
fly him back, so I was glad with
Is that
that.
bad for detail?
Yeah, no, they gave us a good deal on that
We
store.
provided the masks.
Scoville did that for a
Yes.
pretty good price, as far as the cleaning it up. Rusty?
So I would recommend that you, Rodney, the mayor, Rodney, explore potential places to get the money for Royal and bring it to us next meeting.
For Royal, okay.
Something
Does that sound
reasonable?
like a plan?
Well,
It's coming on your budget.
He's gonna explore.
No, you don't stick around.
Jeff.
So who is authorized at Royal to approve these?
That's a good question.
Somebody. Royal would call down here and somebody would approve it. Somebody told Royal to go ahead and fix it.
Well, that's where my question is.
That would be our maintenance man.
Well,
And plus, everything we have done in complete communication with the mayor. Nothing has been done behind, and I mean, I've reported like I'm supposed to the mayor. And I had and he did it on his own as well, our maintenance man going and advising everything as it's going and what needed to be done. So it wasn't just haphazard and we're just gonna take it upon ourselves to do it, so.
Right, I mean, my understanding is anything over $5,000 has to come through the board.
That's true.
Is that?
Yes.
I mean, that's my understanding.
Okay, well, your 13,893 was done prior to, the actual division of life.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to...
That's also true.
So I didn't know, I can't say as to what the process was or wasn't prior to that, because I didn't know who authorized
I'm not trying to figure
what.
out who did it. I just
No,
want to stop it from
it's
happening.
statewide, anything.
Oh, yeah.
Purchases over.
Yeah, I got yelled at when I took the bill over to the office, but I
Yeah.
said, don't shoot the messenger, because
we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna make sure that the process is...
well, yeah, we know that the process is there,
We're
but
gonna
that's
fix,
prior.
we're gonna fix the process. We're not worried
Yeah,
about
just
it.
so everybody's on the
Everything we've done
same.
since then has been little, obviously, clips.
Right, I know you're a new entity as well.
Yeah, and we know that none of us wanted them tires to be the issue, and once they put the new tires on, we had a flat tire with one of the new tires. It was like, we've just, every time we take a step forward, we get kicked back a couple. But, we've been still trudging through, but at this point, we know, we all were told that that's what our deal is. Anything over 5,000, we have to get approval.
Yes, that's true.
And truly, if it wasn't for all of this that's happened, it never would have came to a $5,000 anytime,
We definitely understand that as a board as well.
Yeah.
This was way out of your control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just did what we could. And you're probably gonna hurt us.
Yeah, and at that point, we were kind of scrambling, so
We
we were scrambling big time, but
have a person, we put in for a grant from the same place. We wanted to, because, and then you guys said you were doing it, so I was like, oops. So I'm gonna let Paul do it because he's the one that was,
okay, what do you,
processed.
So, as you know, Mildred Truman Faulkner is due Wednesday, I believe,
Right.
coming up. And along with that is we wanted permission to do some work on the ambulances, such as get a power lift system for the structures for at least one ambulance. And we wanted to put in a grant request for that. It's a twofold grant request to outfit one, to outfit one ambulance is, sorry, Robin, there it is. To outfit one ambulance with a power load lift is $27,000, and I'm using round numbers. Along with that is you have to update, retrofit our current structures to work with that system. Then, which is another $3,000 to $3,500 a piece, depending on what the serial number is. So we were going to propose putting out for a grant to get one power load system and upgrade our 3 cots so they would all fit in there, so we wouldn't have a problem of this cot could only go in that ambulance to start off this rendition, and the total cost for this would be $39,554.17.
嗯
There may or may not be a grant available for that. It would be a $1,000 grant, $1,000 a village aspect to it, up to $2,000, only because depending on what the installation requirements are, there's about 4 of us in the EMS department that are very good at installation. If there's a lift required, that's where it gets out of our league because we would need to utilize a lift. So that's where the expense of the installation. Stryker does the retrofits to the cots. That's embedded in here and go above and beyond. And we were just looking for your consideration to finish putting the grant together, but we don't want to compete. We don't want to compete with the other stuff that's going on too.
What's the deadline for that?
The deadline's Wednesday, I believe.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power lift, if you don't know what that is, that's where the actual structure hooks onto it. It actually lifts these small people that we have to transport sometimes. I said small. And, if you're on our receiving end, it's a nice thing.
Yeah, I've seen a demonstration of one of those
Yeah.
from the Campbell
Yeah,
ambulance.
Maine, we just, as a matter of fact, we just purchased 2 of Campbell's ambulances that have it, so.
Yeah,
God bless them.
that's where I saw, I was on Campbell's ambulance. But
Yeah.
From a personnel standpoint, that, on the primary, that's the right thing to do on the primary business. Your chances of a workers' comp injury for back injury for
Right.
that's the biggest, highest probability workers' comp claim for the
yeah, because you're just hitting a button instead of trying to lift somebody up. But.
And it reduces potential operator error, putting the patient in and taking the patient out of the ambulance.
So it's all right, the town has to pay.
So what's the total amount?
The total amount, 39,554.17. And
That covers labor?
that covers labor of the power structure retrofits, but it does not cover the labor if needed to install it into the,
Was there a limit that you can apply for, the grant-wise?
They have a limit that's not really announced, but,
I mean, I would think you should include that labor amount in your request for the grant.
okay, other than there's really not a quote to go along with the labor, only because if we were to take it to the county garage at, I believe, $68 an hour, then he's just gonna charge us what the actual rate is. I can ask Al and have him give us a quote along with that.
That wouldn't be a bad idea
Okay.
for a couple hours or whatever. Yeah.
Don't leave out any expenses.
Rusty?
So is there a match, you said?
Well, the only match I was talking about is there's potential for installation fee for the power structure itself, or the lift.
Yeah.
What they have to do is you put a template in there, you put holes in the floor of the ambulance, you have to get underneath and put bolts in and secure it to the ambulance well.
So the 39,000 would buy all the stuff and potentially, depending on, we might have to come up with a couple $1,000s to do that, right? Of our own money.
Right.
But if you can get a quote, why not? Put it for the grant for the total,
And of course,
you know, and they might tell you, well, we'll only give you 25.
Okay.
So,
we understand that the potential for overlap, and we could cause trouble for ourselves. I don't have an answer to that, but I understand the concern.
Yeah.
what do you mean overlapping?
We're asking for 50 grand from them for the fire station repairs, and then we'd be asking for 39 grand from them at the same time for this ambulance stuff.
Oh, okay.
So Are we competing with ourselves? Are we shooting ourselves? That's the concern, and they express that concern.
Yeah, we didn't ask the question prior to. We were gathering the information over the past week so we could bring it to the board.
Okay.
So I don't think with the already what's going on is I don't think our feelings will get hurt if you say wait until next time. But that's up to you
Do
guys.
you have an idea what
I
the
don't-
next time would be?
Well, they do
every year, I
grant grant processes every 6 months.
Okay.
So
Not an
June,
unrealistic amount of time.
right, I believe it's June and December. I would have to look on their website again.
But until then, you can come out and have a stuff.
All you can do is try, and they'll say that this time.
Right, but the mayor has a goal of
Restoration.
trying to get $50,000 for a place that we currently reside in also. So,
Right.
I mean, we could be potentially shooting ourselves in the foot.
Wasn't there also Coffee Towns?
That's totally separate.
There's other
Okay.
places, of course.
Yes.
So I don't have much experience with them to know if that's gonna shoot us in the foot or not.
Yeah, we need a spy, we need somebody that knows how that works.
It kind of depends on how the stock market is doing, how many other applicants that they have, and how much money they have.
Well, just, I mean, if they reject it one time, they won't necessarily reject it the next time.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
The issue is if they would accept this one in lieu of the $50,000 that you're,
Right.
you know, with a limited set of funds, they're gonna pick one or the other.
Yeah, we don't want to do that too, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, we
that's-
don't want it.
No.
so maybe we submit that one in December.
And or some other places in between.
Yeah, maybe there's something else before that we can
The
find.
ones come open.
Yeah. Anything else from you guys?
Nothing, we're good.
Just one, are you gonna bring up the Pinsky issue?
If you want to bring that up right now, and then, I don't know how or when the board would like to talk about it. Some of that discussion might be either attorney-client privilege or an executive session. It just depends on how it all shakes out.
I'll defer to, you guys are gonna do executive session, that's your executive session.
Yeah,
yeah.
probably need to talk about that in executive session or attorney-client.
All right, so I'll think about the reason to go either it's attorney-client session or executive session, but I'll think about it as we move along and feed you guys the reason
What do you
specific.
think about that?
So we're not gonna bother voting on the lift?
And when it goes.
I think we're gonna apply, either explore other, just so we don't compete with ourselves, we're in the same bucket of money.
See it till next time.
Yeah, worst case next time.
Yeah,
Maybe there's something we can apply for sooner, I don't know.
Municipalities are slightly different than the 501c3s. So you have to kind of stay more local with the municipalities.
Right.
And also, when does the federal grants open up? Are they May? Okay.
I stopped paying attention a couple years ago.
Okay, so, and plus there's federal grants that municipal and private ambulance agencies can get when they're announced.
Okay. There are also some SAM type stuff, being municipal, that you could now qualify for. Like the police department's getting one, the fire department got some, so. DPW, I don't think they get any grants at all for anything.
No, I'm just trying to get it floor.
Alright. Jeff, what do you got?
Well, first of all, going back to changing superintendent to I've been greatly underpaid apparently. I want to solve that problem right here now.
75 cents for him.
75%?
I gave everybody the first quote for 90 Temple Street's roof. I'm still waiting for two more, but as everyone can see, it was $64,650. And then an additional $11,450 to fix the fascia soffit and
that's a
paint.
Okay.
So, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at.
Is there insurance money to cover all of it?
I doubt insurance is gonna cover it all.
And then
We haven't, Rod, have you heard back from,
No.
I met the Nimer guy there, and when we got done, he said he was probably gonna have to send an additional inspector to look at things, so.
Great.
And then question, is the immediate, because this happened like a couple weeks ago, right?
Right.
So is the immediate need for repair to stop further ongoing damage is past at this point? You know, you've got any temporary things in place that you need to prevent further damage from happening? Because the reason I'm asking these questions is because with this type of a quote, you're clearly over the competitive bidding threshold, which means you need to competitively bid the project to fix the building.
Correct.
So you're planning on doing that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Right, okay.
I mean, I don't foresee anybody else, the other two guys coming in less than, I mean, in 2000, I can't remember, either 14 or 16, the price was $58,000, so at any rate, it's gonna be over the threshold. And we're gonna have to do something there. I mean, we're either gonna have to do some sort of temporary half-baked thing or something, because it's still leaking a little bit, yeah. So, I don't know. I can tell you, I don't have $80,000 laying around.
Neither do we.
So.
Yeah, Jeff, and this doesn't even address that the windows are all shot too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the other 50,000.
All right. So, we need to do something, so I don't know.
Let's borrow.
It cost, I'm not sure what the judge had to replace. I know there was a keyboard and some other stuff, and it cost me almost $8,000 to have the mess cleaned up. I had to bring Surf Pro in to clean everything up, so. And I still haven't gotten the pigeons out of the
What are you waiting for?
I tried to get them out, but they just kind of look at me. I was gonna shoot them, but then somebody's gotta crawl in and take the carcasses out, so.
Is this a building on the DRI list at all?
Nope.
Have Chief Kennedy do it.
That list has already been submitted, right?
So,
They wouldn't pay for a roof anyway if we're not. We tried to get it on DRI.
other than that,
We're asking for those improvements for the fire, or the police station within Mildred Park as well. But I don't know how fast that's coming.
yeah, and I don't know about the other thing that the county's helping you with.
The historic thing, hopefully we'll get something from that, but I don't think it's gonna be fast.
Right.
Is this something that's gonna have to get done before the winter time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it should get done.
Short-term loan.
If I had the money, I'd have made the board say it was an emergency, and I wouldn't have bid it out or anything else. I'd have done it, so.
So, Mayor, I mean, certainly the board has the option to go out and borrow funds for a project, you know, and I mean, if 80,000 or 100,000 is the number, you can certainly get some quotes from banks for the financing of that. And then the question would be, how many years out would the banks be willing to go? Typically, this type of a repair work, I would imagine you could probably do 10 years. But if you go for a 10-year borrowing, then it's subject to permissive referendum, which would mean, you know, you're looking at probably 60 days from whenever you authorize the borrowing resolution to being able to actually get the money. So if you're planning, if you're gonna need to borrow and you need to get it done this year, then I'd encourage you to strongly consider passing a borrowing resolution at the next meeting to get those timelines going, so that by end of July, you could actually use the money to pay contractors to get the work done, hopefully before the winter time.
So can we get those other two quotes by next meeting?
I'm hoping so.
Just so we know if this
Thought I would
guy's,
have had them by now, but.
this guy's 80,000 is crazy or
Right.
in line.
Right.
Do you want me to put together a borrowing resolution for the board? I mean, we can leave the dollars kind of blank at this point, and if Jeff's quotes come in, you guys can at the next meeting figure that out, but just so if you need to pass it. And simply authorizing the borrowing doesn't mean you have to borrow. I mean, you can, that would just open up your possibilities here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pictures of that ambulance.
The next thing is the Upper Susquehanna River Basin Comprehensive Flood Damage Reduction Feasibility Study.
Yeah.
Could you recommend that first, please?
Which is actually the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEC have accepted the village as to be part of their study. Now, first of all, it's just a study. And the only thing that they've truly said that they could do is non-structural measures, which basically means demolition or elevations. They haven't made a determination on doing some sort of berm and or flood wall. If you look on the back, the yellow, the green, and the red would all be either levees or flood walls. But they have not made the determination whether the cost benefit is good enough. We should have that, they said probably in 2 weeks, but it's probably going to be more like 2 months because that's how government works. But if you read that, it basically lays out what we're talking about. We were in competition with a lot of people. They told Binghamton no. They told Vestal, Johnson City, and Endicott no because of the cost benefit. What it would cost to do what they need far outweighs what it would save. So as soon as I get the word from them about the